What it is, YouTube? Is your boy DC coming back with another bullseye of a video here today on the channel. We're gonna be doing a tiers list talking about the best saturation plugins available to mix vocals and just mixing in general. All right, so if y'all like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let me know what are some of your favorite plugins, whether it's a saturation, EQ, reverb. Let me know down below. I would love to hear it. Maybe y'all are using a plugin that I'm not using right now that's really dope. So also don't forget to suggest more video ideas down below and check the links to support the channel. So let's go over the tiers that we got. The first tier is going to be mix and master tier. These are the best saturation plugins, that always kind of just nail the final mix. Then you have rough mix, which is good enough for the demo. Vocal template is good enough just to having your template or your mixing templates or whatever like that, but you might change it later on. Debatable is the plugins that you hardly ever use right before you delete it at the very end. Okay, so first thing that I want to say is that because I've been making YouTube videos for a couple years and people always say, why does he say it like that? Saturator. Like, why did he? And it's like, it's just so funny. It's just so funny. Like, saturator. Like, you can say whatever way you want to. Saturator. You feel me? It's just, you know what the hell we talking about. But so first plugin that I'm gonna have to throw up on the mix and master tier of my saturator. I just find it funny how everybody just is like, why does he say it like that? Saturator. You feel me? I done seen crazy comments like with the D or the T, and it's just funny as hell. But look though, a Fat Filter Saturn 2 is a great saturator. I like that plugin a lot because it gives me multi-band capabilities, letting you saturate in one specific area. And that's kind of what's gonna be one of the main things that boost up a plugin here in the the tier, right? Is going to be the versatility but also the usability in terms of how you can disperse the saturation, because sometimes you don't want saturation across the whole signal. You might want it only on one area because saturation works across the different frequencies differently, like tape. Tape can help fortify and really thicken up like oatmeal low end, but it can also smooth off and diminish high end. So it has different ways of working in different areas. You know what I mean? That's why I like Fat Filter Saturn 2, because let's say if I only want to saturate my mid-range, well, I can do that. And I have the options of transformer, tape, amp distortion, clean distortion, tube distortion, tape, a bunch of different options that really lets you dial in the sound. In addition to, like with the Fat Filter Saturn 2, you can play around with the dynamics mode. You can play around how you're affecting that waveform and everything like that. So I think it's great, and that's why it's at the tippity top, the mix and master tier. I like to use the first version because to me it sounds a lot more warmer. But the Fat Filter Saturn 2 is great for mixed bus, great for vocals, great for an all effects bus. Sometimes I might just saturate only the high end using tube of all my effects, and now because there's more harmonic density in that top end, now I hear the reverb better. I hear everything better. So now I can actually bring down the volume level of my reverb and my delay because now there's more saturation in the high end. Okay, SPL twin tube vitalizer. Not twin tube, but the actual twin tube. I'm throwing that in vocal template. I love it. It has a specific tube sound and different combinations. Very simple to use. So I think it's definitely good enough for the vocal template, but it lacks some things like a visual GUI to see like how you're affecting. It also lacks like that multi-band component I was talking about. And yeah, that's why it's gonna fall a little bit short, but it's still great for a vocal template or whatever. Very underrated, but this is like the UAD Neve 1073. So I use the 1073 preamp, or I'll use the channel strip, and what I'll do is I'll just open it up and not touch nothing and just allow the transformer and the transistor in that that UAD 1073 preamp modeling to come in there and give the boost in the low end, to give the bite in the mid range, to give that transistor top end that sounds good and very present on whatever it needs to be. So that's why I enjoy sometimes using the UAD preamps just as a saturator. That's why I'm throwing it up in rough mix, because I like how you have the ability to switch from mic to line. And if you're using the actual UAD console, okay, you use the mic mode, but when you're mixing, if you click on the mic, it will like blow it up. Like it would make it super loud and distorted, and I love using that as a distortion thing. Sometimes on a parallel chain, most of the time is maybe on a direct effect itself and just ever so slightly pushing it just to give some nasty preamp distortion saturation type of effect. When it comes to the NLS bus, I always thought that was a very overrated plugin, and I throw it in debatable because it fucks up the stereo imaging of whatever signal you're working with. And also, one thing about the NLS bus trick too, I just think it's overrated because Jason Joshua does it, and people don't understand how much noise you're bringing in to a drum bus, when you use something like that, and it kind of makes the stereo imaging become a little bit wobbly, which will make things feel less dense. So that's why I'm throwing it in debatable. Damn near would delete that plugin, honestly. Uh, in terms of distortion, I love using Devil Lock. I like to use. I know it's like a parallel compressor, saturator, but it's just great to just blow stuff up, blow up ad libs, blow up maybe a distortion vocal you want to do, a double distortion vocal like on rock stuff. Great to add saturation to snares with that onboard parallel knob and everything. So yeah, I really like that plugin Devil Lock, and that's why that's gonna be going in rough mix. This is a dope plugin right here too. The T-Rax Saturator X. I like it a lot because you have things like mastering tape, you have tube, you have a wide variety of saturator and saturation sounds that you can get from a plugin like that. Do you guys ever use any of these plugins? Let me know what saturation plugins have y'all been rocking with lately. Maybe there's something that you're using that I'm not trying out, or maybe you're using one of these plugins in a different way. I would like to know. So the Saturator X is pretty good. I feel like it's somewhat limiting in the area where when you start to really push, it's good for mild to subtle saturation. I think when you start to push it and hit it, slap it upside the head really hard, the plugin starts to sound a little bit weird. All right. So that's why I'm gonna just put it right there. Soft tube harmonics is gonna have to go there. You got like the tilt filters, you got the solid state saturation, you got tape, you got 4 different types of saturation with different filter modes and different filters, and different ways to play around with it where you can really dial in a nice sound with that. So that soft tube harmonics is gonna go in rough mix. The Spectre from Waves Factory has to go on mix and master tier. You can just work, you can just fine tune the saturation so well and add density to a certain area if it's low mid, or you want to smooth out the high end while also boosting it up. You can do that with that plugin. By far the best plugin. And honestly, if I only had to have one plugin, I would just have that Spectre, and I could just boost the whole mix like that, and get it to sound good like that with just that plugin and a rough stock EQ, and maybe something like just a basic Fat Filter Pro C. I could get a mix popping, on and jumping. You guys probably could too. Have you guys ever tried that plugin? Dope plugin. Tone Lux Kelvin, great plugin with multiple saturation modes, different sounds, and some input EQ that will let you tilt the signal into the saturation circuit. So it's great. You can sometimes the whole thing about saturation is how you EQ it before and after. That will produce different sounds and different textures. It's kind of like taking a bucket of paint and throwing it into a wall. Depending on the angle that you throw that bucket of paint, it might produce a different type of splat on the wall, and that's what the saturation is. It's like that splat that's gonna like stop the being the wall. It's gonna stop the paint and like curve it a certain way. All right, then you have Isotope Trash. I know that plugin's called trash, but it ain't trash because it's good as hell, and it's great for trashing up ad libs. When somebody says, "Man, I want my vocals to sound a little bit dirty," that's a plugin I always love going to, is that Isotope Trash or the Devil Lock. And a lot of times with rap music, people do want that dirtiness. They want that texture because that's that real feeling that they're producing, that trashy quality that makes it just feel like the Grouch from Sesame Street. You feel me? The Grouch popping out that trash can, popping out that trash can. All right. So that's why we're going to be putting Trash 2 right there at the rough mix spot. Black Box HD2, not the most wokest plugin, Black Box HD2, DEI HD2, but I like it a lot. Between the triode and the pentode tube, and also the air tube, and you get to mess around with the flat settings and high and low. It's a great plugin. It's one of the best plugins for low end, getting a big booty bass to really feel plump, getting kicks to hit hard, getting a mix bust to shine through with a lot of harmonic density and energy. That's one of the great plugins to use. Black Box HG2. All right. Old but gold. And we're gonna have to throw this in rough mix because it can't be used in every DAW. It's gonna be the Peacock from Crane's song. All right. So let me see something real quick. So yeah, that's kind of where we ended up at with the RC20. That would be blasphemous to put it in vocal template, considering that you have noise, combinations of tape distortion and digital distortion and other types of artifacts. One of the better saturation plugins to create texture and grit. Isotope Exciter. Man, you damn well know that I gotta go and mix and master all the different modes, triode, dual triode mode, which is like an Avalon type of style. You don't really see dual triode in many things, but it has it. So that Avalon type of sound that I want, that smoothness, tape, retro, analog, amp, different types of distortion, and you can precisely do it in different ranges using the filters and stuff. The capitator's got to go and mix and master. Uh, it's just a classic sound. A-N-T. It has that Neve, that vintage Neve N. It has the A for the Ampex, triode and pentode, which is what you want to be standard on any saturation plugin is triode and pentode. Even the Shep's Omni channel could have made this. It could have made vocal template if it would have been there. Um, on the preamp section, it's got pentode, triode, some bit crushing, and some clipping. So that would have been a great one too. I didn't want to put it there because it's Waves plugins. Not everybody likes Waves plugins. But then a little radiator, not the one in your car, but the one inside your DAW, a little radiator. I think that's a great tube plugin that's good for guitars, good for really transient management. That's what I use saturation for a lot of times is transient management, smoothing off high end, smoothing off transients without using de-essers and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video here today. What do you guys think about the list? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You want to support the channel? We'll check the links down below. And also let me know how you guys feel about the list. What more could I do to this? What other videos I should do. And I just want to say I appreciate y'all now, YouTube gang. Peace.